we thought of conducting this workshop because everyone is at home. You know, we have been facing a crisis situation, but everybody is at home, and we wanted to make sure that the kids, you know, use their time in a very productive way, and also learn the very vital skill for the next generation, which is, you know, coding, right? So so that's basically TechKids program was started having that in mind, so that every kid in Sri Lanka know how to code or how to do computer programming. I would kindly request you to you know, mute. Hold on. Okay. Now, today what we are going to do, we can see 13 participants. What we are going to do today is we are going to do a workshop, a very basic programming workshop using Scratch. Through that, what we are going to do is we are going to draw some beautiful shapes using Scratch. Beautiful mathematical shapes, mostly polygons, so that you will have the fundamentals of programming or coding, and at the same time you will learn a bit of math as well. So even if you do not know the math part of it, but the presenter, the trainer that we are going to have today to do this session is our passionate volunteer trainer, Ishara. Ishara is a TechKids volunteer, have been very passionate on contributing for many code clubs with us. So she's going to conduct the session. Even if you do not know much about math, don't worry, she will take you through you know, each of those within the next few minutes. So I'm going to hand over to Ishara. Ishara, are you there?
Hi, Shiraz.
Yeah, hi. It's all yours, Ishara.
Yes. Okay, so let's get started. First, I'll start by sharing my screen. Okay. I hope everyone can see that. If not, please ping or just let us know. All right. Okay, then let's get started. Right. Hi, everyone. So today we are using this tool called Scratch, and we'll be drawing this, you know, all these easy polygons and a little bit complex ones that you have learned through your mathematics subject. So usually what you do is you draw them by hand every day when you're doing it at your class or your tuition class, right? So instead of doing it like that, we'll be using programming. A little bit of programming, I would say, to do that. And instead of you doing that, we'll ask your code to do it for you. So this is the first online coding workshop we are doing. So if you have any problems or anything, we'll be opening a Q&A session at the end of the session. So you can ask anything you want to clarify, any problems you get, anything you want to get clear about anything else. So a little bit of me, as you all know, my name, it is Ishara, and I'm currently working at WSO2 as a technical writer, and I've been a volunteer for a few programs, and my blogs and my email, everything is there. You can just, we can have a small Q&A session after this. You can clear out all your doubts. So, I'll skip this slide because I can show it using Scratch. So I share the links to the Scratch offline tool and the online platform that is in the group chat. You can check it from Zoom. So either if you haven't already downloaded Scratch, you can go to this link and try it out with me during the workshop. So if you click on that link I have already shared with you, or you might already very familiar with Scratch, you will know what to do. This is the Scratch home. So you go to home and you click create, and Scratch will create a new project for you. So first I'll explain you what this whole screen is. So this is the character we'll be using today, not this one exactly, but there are several characters. This one, this cat you can see, this is called a sprite. So if you click on this button, you can add new sprites, you can do anything with the sprite. For today, I'll not be using the cat. So yeah, I'll get to that part later. And this is the stage that we are using the sprite in. Like we can move the sprite, we can make it go forward, make it go backward, we can turn it. So we can do all sorts of stuff, but within this stage. And these blue color code blocks you can see, these are the blocks that we will be using to control that sprite. So these are called code blocks. So instead of doing real programming, we'll be using these code blocks to program the sprite. So if you the purple ones, pink ones, these are all sorts of code blocks, but they're categorized according to their behavior. As in these blue ones are to move the sprite, and these orange ones, they can make the sprite wait for 1 second, and there's this whole new thing called repeat. So several blocks like this. And if you just play around, you can see all sorts of new blocks. They are all categorized by how they behave. Okay. And using these blocks, what you can do is this area you can see. This is the area we drag and drop these blocks. So that is how we do this programming. We drag and drop. And if you want to delete something, you can either right click on it, click delete block, it will go away. If not, you can just drag and drop it to the code block area, it will then go away. Okay. So today, apart from all these basic blocks, we'll be using this new tool that is called pen, just like the pen you're using at class. So by default, pen does not come in Scratch. So you have that is a feature you have to enable, I would say. So first of all, I'll show you how to enable it, and I'll give you 1 minute to do it on your Scratch. Okay? My mouse pointer is here. If you can see, click on Add Extension, and then the pen. Click on the pen, and all these pen blocks are then available for you. So we'll be using the pen blocks today, this pen tool, to draw the shapes using the sprite. So that's why I told you, instead of you drawing everything by your hand, we are using the sprite today to draw all these shapes. For this, you need a little bit of maths knowledge. Like I told you before, you need to remember how to, the angles and the lengths and everything of a square, of a rectangle, of a triangle, I would say, just very basics, and nothing complex. And this tool, using this tool, you can change the color, you can change the, you can set the pen size, and there are several other blocks we'll be using today. You'll get to know. Okay, first of all, okay, I'll give you 1 minute to figure out how to add the pen to your Scratch. Okay, go ahead and add pen tool to your scratch. Okay, so I hope you all were able to do it. If not, I'll do it again for you. Click on add extensions and click on pen. Then all the pen blocks will load for you in your scratch. All right. So the next thing to do is today we will not be using the cat. If you love the cat, I'm sorry, but we won't be using it. So to remove the cat, click on this trash icon. If you can see, my mouse pointer is there. Right below the sprite, it says sprite 1. Click on the trash icon and delete it. Remove that sprite. And to add a new one, click on this button. And because we are drawing shapes today, we have already come up with this sprite in our mind, but the beetle, if not, you can use any sprite, but you have to make sure it has a top weave. Like, for example, this cat is a perfect sprite if you don't like the beetle. Okay, like that, I can get the beetle to my stage. I'll do it again if that was not clear. You click on the sprite. Either you can scroll down and choose one of the sprites that appear, or if you know the name, just like me, you can type it in this search field. I would suggest using some sprite with a top wave, like this beetle, like this cat. You click on that and it will come to your stage. Okay. So before drawing a shape or a polygon, something very complex, let's start with the basics. So when you're, first of all, you need to know how to draw a line. That is the very basic. You see, if you are drawing a triangle or a square, rectangle, for everything, you need to draw lines. You connect lines and then only you draw shapes. So first of all, we'll figure out how to draw a line. So like I told you before, we will not, you yourself will not draw this. You will make sure the beetle, I'm using the beetle today, the beetle is doing this for you. So how can you ask the beetle to start moving? You need to move to draw the line, right? So that is an event. An event you need to trigger the beetle, as in you command the beetle, okay, start moving now. For this, we have a separate set of codes. Like I told you, how they're categorized on how they behave. So all these yellow color blocks you see, they are called event blocks. And using these event blocks, you can ask your beetle to move. So for today, you can see this green color flag that says go. I'm going to make sure when I click on this green color flag, the beetle is moving. For this, there is a code block here when the flag is clicked. So I'm going to drag and drop it here. So then ideally the beetle should be moving. So now we'll go to the pen, because without the pen, like even if I move the beetle, you won't be able to see it. No? So we need to draw a line where the beetle is moving. That is how we're going to draw the shape. I'll be using this erase all block. I'll explain you why I use it. I drag and drop it here. Then I'm going to set the pen color. I'll use green. You can change the brightness, change the color, do anything you want using this pen tool. Then set the pen size. I'll set it to 2. Just like in real world, when you start drawing using a pen, you need to put it down on the paper, right? So there's a block for that also. That is called pen down. So if I don't put the pen down and I draw the line, it won't draw the line, just like in the real world. And so everything is now set. Yeah, I have erased whatever rubbish that is drawn on the stage. Right now I don't have, but you'll see when you're trying it out, there'll be a lot of unnecessary lines on this stage. Then I have set the pen color, I have set the pen size, I'm putting the pen down, but I haven't asked the beetle to move yet, right? So these motion blocks, the blue color ones, these are the ones that say the sprite can move. Using this, I can set the sprite move 10 steps, then I can make them turn, etc., etc. A lot of things are there. So, and I'm going to ask the beetle to move 150 steps. So now, if I go through each block again, when I click on the flag, it should erase everything that's already on the paper, but the beetle won't go away. It will set the pen color to green, pen size to 2. I'll put the pen down and I'll move 150 steps. While moving 150, while the beetle is moving, it will draw a line like that. Very easy. So how about you try it now? And if you have any problems, I can repeat it for you. So just put a chat and I'll repeat it for you. I'll give you 2 minutes to figure this out, and I'll leave the code just like this. Okay, so only because this is the first time you are trying to do something like this, I'll explain the code blocks again. You go to events, you drag and drop this block. That is the one here. So it will make sure when you click on the flag, the beetle is moving. And this erase all block that belongs to the pen tool. So that is to erase all the unnecessary lines that is on the screen. And you set the pen, you set the pen color using this block. I have set the pen color to green. You set the pen size using this block. It is 2 for us right now. Just this block pen down. That is to make sure that a line is being drawn. And then we go to these blue color motion blocks, and you drag and drop the move block to move the beetle. So I have already clicked the green flag once. So I have this small line drawn like this. So what will happen if I click on that again? Yeah, it erased the line that I had before, and it drew a new line, and it went 150 steps from that point. So what do you think will happen if I remove this erase all block? So when I remove it from this set of blocks that is being run when I click on the green flag, so I'll explain that a little further. So only these blocks are being run. They are the ones that are running when I click on the green flag. Now that I have removed it, this erase all block from that set, it won't run. Okay. I can even delete it. Yeah, I think that's much better. So previously with that block, it erased the one that was on the screen, and then only it drew this new one. So now that I have removed the erase all block, it will keep the line and draw a new line. See, this is why I told you before that it's erasing all the unnecessary lines. See, so we'll use the erase all block. Okay, I hope every one of you were able to figure out how to draw a line. So now that we know how to draw a line, how about we draw something a little complex? This is the line we drew. I hope you use this code. This is what we are trying to draw now, an ascending steps. So this is like the staircase we see. If you see clearly, these are also a set of lines. The lines, just like the line we drew before. You draw this line, but you need to make a turn. You go up, turn, you go up again, and turn, just like that. So now let's give this a try. A little bit complex than drawing just a line, but we can figure this out. So we need to make sure this pen tool and this green color flag, we'll be using this for all the activities we are doing today. This is like, setting up we call it initialization. It's like setting up the pen and the stage and everything. So now I want to make sure that this stage area is clean. So all these lines are erased. So I deleted that move block. And now that beetle is not asked to move, it should clear the stage, just like that. Okay, so now let's try drawing the steps like I showed you before. I'll go to these motion blocks, and there's this special block pointing direction 90. I'm using this for a reason because I always want to make sure my beetle is facing like this. I'll explain it further if it's a little problematic for you. So anyway, the beetle is faced like this, but if I asked him to turn up or down, turn by 30 degrees or 40 degrees, it will be facing to a different side. So that's why in the beginning only, I'm using this block. So it will always be like this. I'm trying to draw those steps I showed before. First of all, I have to draw the line. So this time I'll move 75 steps. Okay. Now this should ideally draw a line. Yeah, it worked. So when I'm drawing the steps, what is the next thing I should do? I drew this. Now I need to draw a line that goes up. For that, can you see this angle, which is a 90-degree angle? I need to make sure the beetle is turned to its upside by 90 degrees. I turn 90 degrees and then again I move 75 steps. I'll move it so you can see clearly. It worked. See, the beetle moved 75 steps. It turned by 90 degrees and then went up. So now what should I do? I did up to this level. So now I need to turn by 90 degrees again and then draw this line. Notice how I use these two different code blocks. You have to make sure you're picking the correct one. Otherwise, it'll change its path. I'll show you if, what happens if I use. So ideally, I should be using this block because I want to in the initial direction, just like I was in the first step when I was doing drawing the first line, like this. But say I use a different, I should turn to my right, right? If I choose this block, and move 75 steps from that angle, yeah, it's not drawing the steps. It's more likely to draw a square if the beetle goes in the wrong way. So that is why you need to make sure you're picking the correct code block to turn to which side it should turn. I'll play it again for you so you can see. Okay, now we have completed the 2 steps. Just like this, like repeat the same code block. So you can ask the beetle to turn by 90 degrees, and now you know how it works. Okay, now it should go up. Sorry. Going up is not enough. This is the last step. Turn by 90 degrees and move 75 steps. So can you see the beetle is a little tilted? He's in different angle now, not in 90 degrees. That is why I use this block. So I'll show you if I didn't use this pointing direction block, what will happen? So what do you think will happen? Will you draw this perfect 2-3 steps that I plan to draw? No, see, it went wild. So if I use this block, see, now the beetle is drawing the perfect steps for me. But I feel like the beetle is moving a little too fast. So let's slow down the beetle a little. this orange color block I used this is under control called wait 1 second. So I'm asking the beetle to wait after moving 75 steps. That's in the beginning, it moves 75 steps. Wait 1 second, go up, wait 1 second, go to your right, wait 1 second, up 1 second, just like that. So without these wait blocks, the beetle was moving really fast. Yeah, I put it in the wrong place. Now the beetle should be moving very slow. Let's see. Nice. Now you can see how the beetle is moving. So shall we change the code blocks you had before, the one you drew the line, and draw these steps? You can play it around a little. I'll give you 2 minutes though. Okay, so why, if some of you are still drawing, I'll explain code block by block now, so you can complete the steps. I am asking the beetle to move when I click on the green flag, just like I did before. And I use this is under pen tool, code block erase all, to erase all the unnecessary lines on the stage. And I'm setting the pen color to green, I'm setting the pen size to 2, and I put the pen down. All these 4 blocks are under the pen tool. Then I go to this blue color motion blocks. I showed you why this block is very important. I need to point the beetle into 90 directions. I'm using this only in the beginning. Then move 75 steps, that is to draw this part, and wait 1 second. Turn by 90 degrees, move up, move 75 steps, wait again, turn 90 degrees, move 75 steps again, wait, turn, move, turn, and move again. That is how we do the steps. All right, I hope you all finished now. So now let's get to the business. This is what we actually came for, to draw the shapes. So the chord block is available here. So this is what we wanted to do, right? Drawing shapes. Now that you know how to draw these lines and turn, go up and down, let's try to draw this square now. All right. So I'll be getting, I need all these initial blocks, the very first few blocks, except for these moving stuff. I'll get rid of them. You drag and drop, and you know, either you can delete one by one, right click on it, delete block, right click on it, delete block, or just, this is very easy for me, you drag and drop and it will go away. All right. So if I click on my flag, it should clear the screen for me now with all these blocks. What it does is only clearing because I'm not asking the beetle to move. Okay, now done. So when you're drawing the square, what is the first thing you need to do? Your beetle is here. Imagine my cursor is the beetle. You need to move, say, 150 steps. You move 150. And then you need to turn by 90 degrees, move another 150, turn by another 90 degrees, move 150, and now you know how to do this part. Make sure you turn to the correct side. If you turn to the other side and take a 90-degree angle, it won't draw the square. I'll show you how it works. So first, in the beginning, the beetle is like this, pointing into 90 direction. So the very first thing we do is moving 150 steps. Okay, that was the easiest thing to do. And then I'll turn to my this side and take 90 degrees and move another 150. Okay, it's going up and it's moving 150. So now I should turn to the correct side, that is correct to my left side again. If I turn to the right side, what will happen? This is me, this is the beetle trying to move to the incorrect side. That is, it should turn to its left, but now it's turning to its right. So this won't draw a square for you, see? This is not the code block I want. This is turning to my right. I should turn to my left like I did before. See, it's the left again. Move 150 after turning. So this code part won't run. Only this is being run when I click on the flag. I'll move it here. Okay, only one side to go. And now I should again turn to the beetles left. So if you forget to put the proper degrees or the steps there, you're gonna have a very messed up square. So make sure you turn by 90 degrees and move 150 steps. I'll get rid of these two blocks. I'm always moving the beetle here and there to a clearer space so you can see how the beetle is moving properly. Okay, that was a little fast, no? So let's use the wait block that is under control. Wait 1 second. So move and wait, move and wait, move and wait before turning. Now, did you see it? The beetle is drawing the perfect square for us. All right. So how about you change your code and draw the square like this. I'll keep this code block open and available for you. I hope 2 minutes is enough. So let's give it a try and draw the square. Okay, I hope you figure that out. If some of you still need time, I'll explain the code blocks. So when I click on the green flag, the beetle will start moving. This block is to erase all the unnecessary lines. This block will set the pen color to green, set the pen size to 2. I'll put the pen down. Make sure the beetle is pointed into 90-degree angle all the time. I move 150 steps, wait for 1 second, turn to the beetle's left by 90, move again, wait 1 second, turn to its left by 90 degrees, move, wait, turn, and move again. Okay, so if you look at these code blocks, can you see there's a small pattern? As in, you move, you wait, you turn. You move, you wait, you turn. Again, you move, you wait, you turn. And you move again. So if these wait blocks are problematic, I'll remove them for now only. So actually these are the code blocks that I wanted to draw the square. These wait blocks are just to make sure the beetle is moving a little slow. So move and turn, move and turn, move and turn. So I am doing this 4 times, right? So can you see how many code blocks I have used to do this, to draw this square? That's a lot. That's really a lot. But all I'm doing is I move and turn and move again, turn, move again, turn, move. Okay, so I'm doing everything 4 times. The same code blocks are here, even the wait ones are there. So instead of using this number of blocks and doing it again and again repeatedly, I can use this control block repeat. I told you this one is a special one. So I can repeat the same code block. As in, I don't need these number of blocks to do the same thing if I can use the repeat block. So now that I know the pattern, I turn and move and I'll wait 1 second. That's what we did before, right? I turn and move and wait 1 second. Turn and move and wait 1 second. So this is the pattern. I'm doing this 4 times to draw the square. So what if I put it inside a repeat block and make the beetle repeat it 4 times? I'll get rid of this part and this part. See, I'm using only a very few blocks now. All these other code blocks are replaced by this repeat block. I think I messed up the order. Ah, no, sorry. I didn't see this move block here. There's an extra move here. Sorry, I missed it. So now this should work ideally, yes. So if that was confusing for you, I'll explain again. So earlier we used a lot of code blocks like I used move and turn and a wait block. Likewise, I used a lot of blocks to draw the square. Okay, I had 3 different sets. All they did was moving, turn, moving again, turn, moving again. Likewise, just to draw the square. So instead of using all that set of blocks, I'm using this repeat block that will repeat these code blocks inside it. You see, so the move, turn, and wait blocks are now inside the repeat block. So the repeat block will run through it again and again and again and again 4 times. So if I give a different number, it will repeat it. Say 5, it will repeat it 5 times. 6, so you can give any number you want. So now that we are trying to draw the square, I gave 4. So if we run through the code block, the repeat block, I move 150, turn 90 degrees, wait, move, turn and wait, move, turn and wait. That is how it does. For 4 times, it's repeating these code blocks. So shall we modify your code, get rid of all that repeated code blocks and just use this repeat block that is inside control, repeat, and try to draw the square with a very few number of blocks. I'll give you 2 minutes for that also, but that is just finding the repeat block that is here. Drag and drop it and modify your code that you use to draw the square. Okay, that was a very easy one. I don't think you needed 2 minutes for that. So you would think, so what, why I like to repeat my code again and again, that's fine. It's only 6 blocks, 7 blocks. But in real world, it's not only 6 and 7. But if you had to use 100 blocks or 200, will you write 200 over and over again? Like say one set of 200, another set of 200, another set of 200. That's going to take a lot of time and a lot of your effort will be wasted because you are repeating the same thing. That is why the repeat block is there to help us. See, you can do anything very easily. You don't have to ask the beat to turn, move again and again. So that's this block will save a lot of time. So now that we draw our perfect square, this is the code block. And this is the code block we use for repeat also. Why not try drawing a rectangle? So what is the basic difference between the square and the rectangle? That is the lengths of each side. Like in the square, all the legs, all the sides were in the same length, but in a rectangle, only 2 sides are in the same length. Not all 4. So that is what we have to keep in our mind. Okay. Now, just like before, I have to clear the stage for my beetle. I'll get rid of these codes. This part won't draw anything, so I'll run it. By run it, I mean I click on the green color flag. Now the stage is cleared for my beetle. So now let's try to draw the rectangle. What is the first thing you have to do? I have to move 100 and, it's 100 yeah, 150 steps. Let's try to do that. Move 150 steps. That will draw a line for me. Yes, like this. And now I have to turn. Turn by 90 degrees because even a rectangle has all 90 degrees in it. Yes, turned. But now, how long should I move? If I move 150, will that work? Will that work for a rectangle? Let's see. Not really. It doesn't look like a rectangle, right? So let's reduce it. I'll use a different number. That's more like it. Now it looks like a rectangle. So I'll ask the beetle to move again by 90 degrees. And now sorry, I have to turn it by 90 degrees. And how long should I move now? Will 75 work for a rectangle? No, the beetle is only halfway there. So 150 again. Now let's see. So now the beetle is facing this side. Like I told you before, only because of this block in the beginning, the beetle will turn to its 90 and start drawing. Okay. Now I have only one more side to finish. For that also, I have to turn by 90 degrees and move 150 steps. Can you notice how I turn to my to the beetle's left all the time? I'm turning to its left all the time. And now I know the beetle is moving a little too fast. So after turning, I'll ask the beetle to wait 1 second. After each turn, it will wait. And I click on the green color flag, and now it's, oh no, what happened? Well, if I moved 75 steps, this should be my perfect rectangle. Yes. So make sure you take the correct angle and you move the correct number of steps. So you can't always make 150 moves or 75 moves. Make sure you keep those 2 points in mind, and let's try to draw the rectangle. Maybe you can change the square code and try to come up with the rectangles code. I'll keep this on screen for 2 minutes and let you try that. Okay. So like in the square codes we did before, can you see there's a pattern here too? Not the same pattern though, because these two sides are equal to each other, and then these two are equal to each other. So there is a small pattern. So you move, you turn and wait. You move, you turn and wait. Can you see? But if you pay attention closely, it's you move 150, turn 90, wait 1 second. Then again you move 75, turn 90, wait 1 second. So this has been repeated twice. Can you see? You complete this part, and then you complete this part and this part. So we can, just like before, we can reduce the code blocks we have used by using the repeat block. I ask the repeat block to repeat it twice, and then I drag and drop the repeat block to here. Now let's see if the beetle is drawing the rectangle for me. Yes, just like before, but with very less number of code blocks. Shall we use the repeat block here as well? It is under control, the orange color blocks, the repeat block, drag and drop it here and use number 2 to repeat it twice. I'll give you 1 minute for this because this is very easy if you have figured out how to draw the rectangle and if you see the pattern. I'll remove this so you can have a clear look. All right, I hope you're done. So now we drew the square and then we did the rectangle. What is the next shape we can draw using Scratch? The code blocks are here and here with the loop, the repeat loops. This is the shape. So a triangle. So earlier we asked the beetle to always turn by 90 degrees because both the square and rectangle, they had 90-degree angles only. But when it comes to a triangle, it's a little different, a little bit different. This is where your maths knowledge comes in handy. Okay? So if you look at my mouse pointer, it's here. Imagine it's the beetle. Okay? Now the beetle is here. So just like in all the other shapes, I will ask the beetle to move, say 150 steps like this. It'll move. And then I should ask the beetle to move by certain number of degrees. Like I should ask him to move by, not by 90 of course. Can you guess how many degrees it should turn by? The angle it should take. Now that I'm drawing the triangle. You think you can figure it out? Is it 60 or 120? Well, some of you might think it's 60, some of you might think it's 120. So instead of telling you the correct answer, why don't we give that a try? Well, now that you're pros in using the repeat block, I'll use the repeat block directly to use that. I hope that's okay with all of you. So as you can see, this equilateral triangle, it has all 60 degrees as the inner angle and all the sides are in the same length. So now that we know how to use the repeat block also, it should come into your mind that, okay, I can use the repeat block and repeat my code 3 times because I'll be using the same set of codes to draw this side, turn and go to this side, move this number of steps, turn again and move again. Okay, so let's use the repeat block. Make sure I'm repeating my codes 3 times. And now, this block will erase this rectangle. So we can forget it for now and say, what is the first thing you want to do? My beetle is here. I want it to move. I'll ask the beetle to move 150 steps. Okay. And then turn to its left. And I'll use the wait block. Just wait it for a second so the beetle is moving slowly. Now this is where the problem I have. How many degrees should I turn? Is it 60 or 120? Well, obviously the triangles inner angles are all 60s. So you might think it should be 60, right? So why not 60? Is that a difficult question? Is that even a question, you might think? And what did my beetle do? Obviously that is not the correct answer. It should turn by 120 degrees. If you see, so now the beetle is facing this side. Okay, beetle is here. If the beetle is turning by 60 degrees, it's taking, it's turning only half of it, I will say. Yeah, that is why it went into this way. See, because it should have turned by 120 and it would have come up to this level. No? How about we change it to 120? I'll drag the beetle here and see. Yes, that works. So it means when it comes to drawing shapes, we should not think about the inner angle in a triangle. When we are drawing a triangle, we should think about the outer angle of the triangle, that is 120, and turn the beetle by the outer angle's number of degrees, and then ask it to move. Because the inner angle did not work like you see before. Let's try to draw it again and see. And I'll explain the code block if it's confusing because we are using the repeat block directly this time. I'm asking the beetle to repeat the code 3 times. First, I'm asking it to move 150 steps. Turn by 120 degrees. You know why? Because 60 is not the angle that we want. We need a 120 angle. And wait 1 second. And move 150 steps again. Turn by 120 angles. Move again. And then you have the triangle. Shall we try to draw this triangle by yourself? I'll give you, 2 minutes is enough. You have the code here. You can give it a try and see. Okay, so if you weren't able to do it, I'll give you another minute while I explain the code again. So these code blocks, we have been using them over and over again. Still, I'll go through. When I click on the green flag only, I'm asking the beetle to move. I'm erasing all the unnecessary lines if I have anything on my stage. I'm setting the pen color to green, setting the pen size to 2, put the pen down, and make sure my beetle is pointing into 90 direction angle, turned by 90 degrees. And then I'm using the repeat block because I'm using this, because I'm drawing this equilateral triangle. I am 100% sure I have to repeat everything 3 times. That is why repeat 3 block I have used. And then I'm asking the beetle to move 150 steps like this. I ask it to move, then turn by 120 degrees, and then wait a second and move again, turn, wait a second, move again, turn and wait. So why we are turning by 120 degrees? 120 degrees is the, so when it comes to a equilateral triangle, each angle is 60 degrees. So if the inner angle is 60 degrees, the outer angle ideally should be 120. So instead of taking the inner angle, we are taking the outer angle. That is why we are turning by 120 degrees. Okay, I hope you guys got it clear enough. If you do have questions, you can ask it during the Q&A section. All right. So now that we tried out all these easy, yeah, these shapes are quite easy. It's time to draw something a little more complex. Let's start drawing all these polygons. These ones we have already tried out. The equilateral triangle, square, rectangle. So now we can try drawing a pentagon or hexagon or this heptagon, octagon, any other complex polygon. You can draw using Scratch and you can program your beetle or your cat or whatever sprite you're using, you can make them draw it. Okay, so when it comes to the polygons, what you have to keep in mind is the polygons have, say in a pentagon, there are 5 sides, but all these sides have the same length. And all these angles, they are in the same degree also. So in a hexagon, so there are 6 sides. All these 6 sides, they are in the same length. And all these angles are also in the same size, same number of degrees. Let's get started with the pentagon. You'll see why we need to keep that in mind. So when we are drawing this, we need to know 2 things. That is how far I have to move my beetle. That is the length. And then how much I should turn it. That is the inner angle. Well, without knowing this inner angle, you cannot ask your beetle to move. Okay? So how do I calculate that angle? So you need to refresh your maths memory here because you should know how the angles around a certain point add up to 360. That is why we have 360 here. The angles around a point. So we take the angles around the point and divide it by the number of sides. In a pentagon, that is 5. So you divide 360 by 5 and you get 72. So this is the inner angle and this is the amount we need to turn our beetle by. Let's give it a try and see. So unlike the triangle, which we use the outer angle, here we are using the inner angle. So don't get it confused. So we know 360 is the angles around a point, and we divide it by 5 because we are trying to draw a pentagon here, and we get 72. You can do the calculation if you really want, but I know the answer. So I'm asking my beetle to turn by 72 degrees. How about we try to change? Yeah, we'll do it from the beginning. So like I told you before, we are doing the exact same thing 5 times, which means I can use my loop. Yeah, I'll use the loop block. The repeat block. Well, loop is also the same thing because you're looping through the same code block again and again. So this is either you can call repeating or looping. It's the same thing. So now that I'm using the pentagon, it has 5 sides. So I'll be repeating my code for 5 times. So what is the first thing you want to do? Say my beetle is here. I have to, obviously, just like all the other shapes we drew today, I have to move it, right? Go to the motion blocks and I'll ask my beetle to move 100 steps. I think that's enough. 100 steps. Then, of course, I want it to turn. And the number of degrees I got from this calculation, 360 over 5. So I asked the beetle to turn by 72 degrees. Just to slow down the beetle, so you can see clearly, I'll use this wait block that is under control, wait. Now let's see if the beetle got it correctly. Yes, it drew the perfect pentagon for me. So make sure why you know all this stuff, that a pentagon has 5 sides and the length of each side is the same. The angles are in the same number of degrees, and how to count the count and angle value is you should know the angles around a point is 360. You have to divide it angle in degrees. So what you need to do is you move the beetle and then you have to turn it by that angle you got it from the calculation. We just use the wait block to make the beetle move slow. You repeat it 5 times and then you get the pentagon. Shall we try to draw the pentagon? And if you want, I'll explain it again while you're trying it out. I'll give you 2 minutes, and at the end of 2 minutes, I'll explain it again for you. The code blocks are here. You can look at them and give it a try. Okay, I hope you all figured it out how to draw the pentagon, and I feel like I messed up the inner angle and outer angle thing. So it's always the outer angle, just like in the triangle. So instead of using those terms, I'll just ask the beetle to move by the degrees. Okay, and I'll explain the code block if you haven't finished it already. So these code blocks, you know, it's the same since from the beginning. And this repeat block, that is the most important part when we are drawing these polygons. So because we know it's a pentagon, it has 5 sides and all the lengths are same, the angles are same. I'm asking, and it's a pentagon, it has 5. So I'm asking the beetle to repeat the code block 5 times. And the length, you can define, you can give any number you want. Okay. For this, I'm using 100 steps and turn by 72 degrees. This degree calculation we got by dividing the angles around a point by the number of sides. That is, the angles around a point add up to 360. So you divide it by 5 and you get 72. And you turn the beetle by 72 degrees and you wait for 1 second. This is just to slow the beetle down. Okay. So now what can we do next? This is the code block. How about we draw a hexagon? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Only the calculation is different a little because there are 6 sides. So you have to divide the angles around a point by 6. 300 over 6 and you get 60. This is how much the beetle should turn. You move like this and you turn 60 here. And you move again, you turn 60 here and here. How about we just change the code for pentagon? We change the loop and say. So for a pentagon, I had to repeat it 5 times. For a hexagon, it's gonna be 6. And I'll be using the same length. I hope that's okay with you. But I have to turn 60 degrees. And you know how that 60 I got from this calculation. And wait for 1 second to slow down the beetle. And now I click on this green flag and the beetle is drawing the hexagon. How about you also change your loop and draw the hexagon? Maybe you can do the calculation if you want to try out, to figure out how much the beetle should turn. I'll keep the code block here so you can check your code with my code. I'll give you only 1 minute for this because this is just changing the repeat block you had before. Okay, I'm sure you didn't even need 1 minute for that. That's just figuring out, you have to loop it 6 times. You move, but you need to turn by 60 degrees, unlike in the pentagon. Pentagon was 72 degrees. For the hexagon, it's 60. And you know how we got that? We came up with this calculation, and then we got the hexagon. So now let's try to do all these shapes and drawing all these lines and shapes and steps. Very boring, right? It's time to do something exciting. How about we use the hexagon and draw this pattern? So if you look at it in the it will get you confused, like how can you come up with such a complex thing, right? But can you notice there are so many hexagons drawn over and over again? How about we give this a try and see? Now that we have the code for hexagon already, this has we need only 2 more blocks. Can you believe? By adding another 2 blocks, we can come up with that very complicated design. So these 2 blocks I'll be using up. Well, as I told you, there were a lot of hexagons drawn over and over again, which means I need to repeat this hexagon block. This is the hexagon block. This part will draw the hexagon, right? So I need to repeat that again and again. I calculated there were 12 hexagons. So I'll be repeating it 12 times. Just think, if I run this block, do you think it will give me that pattern? I'm just asking you. Because I'll be repeating 12 times the hexagon. What do you think will happen? No, it's not the pattern. The beetle is drawing hexagon over and over again. I'm going to click on this red color stop button and stop my beetle from making a mistake. Yeah, so this is not what I should do. Then what should I do? Can you see the hexagons are overlapped a little, right? How do you overlap it? Like you have to turn it a little, say, if you pay proper attention, you can see you have to turn it by 30 degrees. Let's add that block and see. So I'm turning by 30 degrees. You have to pay attention where I'm placing this block. So this block is the one to draw the hexagon. And just below that, not inside that repeat, okay? Just after drawing a hexagon, I'll turn by 30 degrees. And I'll draw another hexagon and turn 30 degrees. Another hexagon. Likewise, the beetle will do it 12 times. Let's see now if he figures out. The beetle is really slow, right? We can't wait that long. I'll stop it for a second. I'll make my beetle a little faster. Yeah, 0.1 seconds enough for the beetle. Nice. Can you see the pattern there? The pattern is moving a little out of the stage. So what I can do is make the size of my hexagon, the length of each side a little smaller. Now I'll try to redraw it. So now I'll explain the code block. So you can then give it a try. I'll erase the pattern and all the lines in my stage, set the pen color, set the pen size, put the pen down, start with my beetle pointing into 90, by pointing into a 90-degree angle. So whatever I'm doing, I'm repeating it 12 times. This block is to draw the hexagon. This we already know. And then draw hexagon, turn by 30 degrees, draw another one, turn again, draw, turn, draw, turn. I'll be doing this for 12 times. See, we get a much smaller pattern this time only because I changed the size, the length of my hexagon side. So now you already have the code for hexagon. Let's draw it 12 times and turn each by 30 degrees and come up with this pattern. For this also, I'll give you 2 minutes only because you already know how to draw the hexagon. Okay, so I hope you all finished the pattern. We can do something a little more colorful with the pattern. See how the whole pattern is in green color, like everything is in one color. That is not very interesting, you know. So I'm going to use my pen tool that is under pen, all these green color blocks, if you remember. I'm going to change my pen color. I'll use this block already comes with number 10, change pen color by 10. I'll drag and drop this code block at this point. So this block, oh, it's drawing again. I'll stop it. This block, this repeat 6. This block is to draw my hexagon, one hexagon. Then turn by 30 degrees. And now I'm changing the pen color, which means after each hexagon, I'll be changing the color. Can you see? It's green, and this is another shade of green mixed with blue. Then it gets blue. So likewise, in each hexagon, my pen will start changing color like this. So you can get the same pattern, but in a very colorful manner with this. So try to use this pen block, change pen color by 10. You drag and drop it just below the turn 30 degrees block. Drag and drop this. Then after each block, each hexagon, it will change the pen color and draw the next hexagon. I'll give you 1 minute for this because this is just using this one change pen color block. So drag and drop this change pen color by, you can give the number, any number you want. You drag and drop that block, and then you have this colorful pattern, the one you drew in a single color before. All right, now we tried two patterns, this one and then this very colorful one. And now this one. This is also drawn using hexagons, if you see. But if you go through the code, you turn just like we did before by 30 degrees. And then you ask the beetle to move also. Move 75 steps and turn again. But notice how it's turning to the opposite sides. First you take a turn to beetle's right. You turn by 30 degrees. Then you ask it to move and turn to your left. Turn to its left. And then you have this change pen block and asking the beetle to slow down a little. So it's just adding few more blocks to the pattern. Let's modify my pattern and see this very colorful one. So I'm asking it to 30 here. You add this move 75 steps. Make it 75, just below the turn 30 degrees. And to the opposite side only I'm turning 60 degrees. Now I'm changing the pen color. Actually, we are not asking the beetle to slow down. We are making a little faster. So after drawing the hexagon, I'm turning 30 degrees. The beetle is turning 30 degrees, moving 75 steps, and turn to the opposite side 60 degrees, and then changing the pen color and drawing another hexagon, and do the same thing again, and do this for 12 times. So we should be getting a little more improved version of the same pattern. Oh, my beetle is placed in the wrong way. Let's give this a try and see again. No, I'll move it here. Now can you see? It's the same pattern, but a little improved. All these points, they are connected. That is because we asked the beetle to move 75 steps and take another turn and draw the next hexagon. So this is also modifying your current code. I'll give you 1 minute for this. Add these 2 blocks and see if you can come up with this design also, this pattern also. Okay, so now let's try something a little different than all these hexagon patterns. This design. This looks extremely complicated, right? You won't even believe that you can draw something like this with the drag and drop blocks available in Scratch. You know, this looks very complicated, but if you look at the code, you can see it's very easy. So these initial blocks, the ones we have been using from the beginning today. So here we are using a loop. All these things are being repeated, the repeat block. We are repeating it for 60 times, okay? So this section only we are repeating for 20 times. That is moving 15 steps, you turn by 20 degrees and you move another 15 steps. So we are repeating this 20 times and you change the pen color and you turn by 45 degrees and you are repeating this set for 60 times again and again and again. Okay, how about we just drag and drop all these blocks and see whether we can come up with this pattern. This is more like a tire or I don't know, a donut, whatever you can call it, but it looks extremely complicated. But it's just 2 repeat blocks with only few set of code blocks. First off, I'll get rid of this code part which we drew the pattern before. So this new repeat block, I am repeating it 60 times. So this inner repeat block, repeating it 20 times. Now, like I explained you before in that slide, move 15 steps. Make sure the wheel is turning to its right. Sorry, turn by 20 degrees. So you are doing circles over and over again. Move another 15 steps. So let's see. I have missed a few blocks. I need to add them. We'll just, can you see it's drawing circles? So using circles, we have drawn that pattern. So we are drawing circles not over and over again, but you turn it by 45 degrees. So just like the hexagon patterns we drew before. So if I run this code, everything will get drawn in green color. Instead, I'll use this pen block, and let's use the change pen color block here. And just like the code I showed before, I'll change the pen color by 90. Well, it's gonna take a little bit of time because it has to repeat this set 20 times and everything 60 times. But can you see the beetle is coming up with that exact same design we planned? So shall we try this also? So this repeat 20 times. This code part is just drawing a circle. You draw circles. You turn, you move the beetle by 45 degrees while you are changing the pen color. So what you have to make sure is when you are turning by 20 degrees, while inside this repeat 20 set, make sure you are taking the same turn to if you are turning to your right, turn to your right also after that 20 set by 45 degrees. So even though it looks complicated, it is very simple. So I'll give you 2 minutes for this also. You can try it out. The code is available here. And we can do something a little more complex and exciting, more exciting than this after this. Okay, so after that tire over donut design, I told you we have something more exciting. So this is that. We can draw this snowflake. Even though it looks complicated and it feels like oh, how can I calculate how many degrees I should turn? How can I make all this work? What do you think you feel like you can draw this, or you feel like no, this is too hard for me? But some of you may feel like, okay, I know how this works. So whatever that is, trust me, you can do it with all the knowledge you gain from today's session. You can do this. You can use them to do this. So if you pay close attention, can you say that this Y-shaped section, that is the one that is being repeated over and over again? See, so there are 6 set of Y's here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now that you know, you can use repeat loops, and you can turn your beetle nicely. So why don't we give this a try and see? First of all, let's try to draw only this certain Y part of the snowflake. Only this part. If we can figure this out, then we'll see how to make the beetle repeat the same code and come up with the snowflake on its own. I'll get rid of this code part. Now the beetle stage is clear. First of all, to draw the Y section, Y arm, I have to move 150. That is what you do initially in all the shapes also. So you move 150 steps, and then see, you can move it like that. Then what should you do next? You have to turn by 45 degrees. Okay, and I'll just I'll put this bait block so you can see properly how the beetle is moving. Okay, now it's turned, but it didn't move yet to that Y, this small arm of the Y section. So it has to move also. Move 50 steps. Okay. So now that I have moved, I need to come back to this point. Then only I can nicely go up to this level and draw the other arm of the Y section of the snowflake, right? So now I'm here. I have to come back. How can I come back? I'll wait for 0.25 seconds there. To come back, I can use the move block again. If I use minus 50, because I moved 50 steps before, if I use minus 50 steps, I can come back, right? Oh, the beetle is out of the stage. Okay, it came back. So now I'm using this weight block so you can see clearly. Now that the beetle is back, I have to turn the beetle by 90 degrees. And 90 degrees, and I'll make it slow down a little. And of course, move 50 steps like the other arm. And now we have the Y arm. But how can you use the loop if the beetle is going to end up at this point? You don't know the angle to turn. You don't. It's going to be very complicated if you have to figure out from this end. Because now that you're here, say you drew this arm, Y arm. Now that you're here, you have to do a very complex calculation to decide how to come up to this point and draw this arm, right? So instead of that, if the beetle was drawing this arm like this, okay? What if we take the beetle back this arm and back up to this point and then repeat the same thing again and again and again? Then you can draw the snowflake, right? So let's try to get it back also. Like get the beetle back to the starting point. That's what we have to do. I'm always using these weight blocks. So now the beetle is here. I have to take it back. So I have to move it by minus 50, as in it will come to this point. And again, wait for 0.25 seconds. And now I have to turn by 45 degrees. Wait for 25 seconds. So I right click and duplicated the code so that I don't have to, get it from this area, set up the degrees and steps again and again. So right click and click duplicate. And then I'll get rid of this part. Now that the beetle is here, back here and turned, now I have to take it back to the starting point. So I have to go all the way back this 150 steps I moved before. All right. So let's run this and see if I get the Y arm properly. Oh, I forgot the minus 150. Okay, now it's back to its starting point. So if you can remember, when we are drawing the hexagon, because it had 6 sides, how we did the small calculation and figure out the angle, how much I should turn the beetle. So just like this, if you can see, there are 6 sections here, 6 Y parts, 6 Y arms. So the angles around this point add up to 360. So if I divide 360 by the Y sections I have, that is 6, 360 by 6, again I get then I get the angle that I need my beetle to be turned, that is 60. So first of all, I want to make sure the beetle is drawing these Y parts 6 times because I had 6 sections. And while after drawing each of these parts, that is after all these steps, it needs to turn by 60 degrees. And you know how we came up with that calculation also. You divide 360 by the number of sides, and then you put the loop also, and you put the degrees to turn. Move the beetle here. Let's change the color. Now let's see if it's drawing the snowflake. Okay, we have the snowflake now. So how about, we know all these initial steps. I'll give you 2 minutes to look into this code and try to figure out how to draw a certain y-section and repeat it 6 times, and after each y-section turn by 60 degrees and then repeat it 6 times to come up with this snowflake. I'll give you 2 minutes. So you can try this out and draw different kinds of snowflakes. I'll try to go through this code. So from the very beginning also, we have been using this event, this yellow color block with the flag. So that is how I make my beetle move. So when I click on this, only the beetle knows, okay, I have to start moving. And erase all block that is under this pen tool, all these green color blocks. Erase all is to remove all these unnecessary lines I have drawn, and set pen color to blue in this block. I'm setting the pen color and pen size, and I put the pen down. Make sure my beetle is point in 90-degree angle. So whatever I'm doing inside this block, I'll be doing it 6 times, because the snowflake had six similar arms in the snowflake. And then I'm drawing a snowflake. All these steps is to draw the snowflake's Y arm, and then the beetle would be coming into the starting position at each arm, and I turn the beetle by 60 degrees and draw the same thing again, come back, draw the same thing again, and come back likewise. So when it comes to drawing the Y arm, I move 50 steps, and sorry, I move 150 steps. I turn by 45 degrees and draw this part, come back and turn by 90 degrees and draw this part, and come back again and turn by 45 degrees and go all the way back 150 steps to the starting point. So I'm doing this. Once I complete one arm, I turn by 60 degrees, I draw another arm. The beetle is growing actually. So likewise, I'm drawing the complete snowflake using the loops, move, turn, and this weight block is to slow or speed the beetle a little. Likewise. So I'm not using any new blocks. So all these blocks, I have been using them today. So that is a very simple snowflake. If you look at all this, this is the code that we've been using. All these other snowflakes also, you can try drawing using all these blocks that we have been using today. So you can give it a try when you have some time, when you don't have any homework to do, etc. And you can get back if you have any questions. Shiraz, over to you.
Hi guys. Thank you, Ishara, for that amazing presentation, and I hope you have learned a lot through this session. Next thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you all an assignment, a kind of PDF form, so you can go through all the assignments. You can code it, and at the same time, Ishara showed three complex snowflakes. So I'm going to give that also as challenges. So you can code it, you can save it. I assume that you know how to save it. So if you want to know how to save it, I'll just show it to you quickly. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show it to you how you can save. Basically, what you can do is you go. I'm going to open up my Scratch screen. Hold on. Yeah, so what you can do is, in order to save any work that you have done, all you have to do is pretty simple. I'm just going to do a very light demo. So let's say I want to save this. All you have to do is you go to File and then Save to your computer, and it can be saved. Let's say I'm going to name it as test. It will be saved as an SB file, .sb file, SB3, .sb3. So you can save it, and whatever the complex, the challenges that you're going to make. For an example, the snowflake, the three challenges, you can save it and send that the code to me. I will check it. If they are correct, I am going to send you out a nice, beautiful certificate that you have participated and you have completed the challenges with your name and so on. So thank you so much for joining, and I hope you have really enjoyed it. And see you next time. We'll keep you informed about the future sessions. So thank you all, and thank you, Ishara, for the presentation, and have a nice day. Thank you. underscore